So, welcome to the wonderful world of the growing dome. And in this video, I'm going to explain the differences between gardening in a growing dome and gardening in a regular greenhouse or gardening outside. And there are some significant differences. And the first one is that with the space, this beautiful space, curved dome space, we can grow on 3 different levels. So here you see we've got all these trees with big foliage, and that's like creating what I call an enclosed indoor forest garden. So that provides shade in the summer, and when the winter comes, the trees lose their leaves and the sun shines on the soil. And then also we're growing on a middle level, an intermediate level. We've got bushy plants like herbs and tomatoes and things like that. And then finally we can grow on a lower level, and usually down here we have things like lettuce and all your root crops, which at the moment we're more in the outdoor garden because it gets pretty warm in the growing dome. So that's the first thing, is the space. The second thing is what we have is a regular greenhouse generally has shelves and pots and racks, but what we have are soil beds inside the growing dome. It's an enclosed garden, and it's a year-round garden. A lot of people with regular greenhouses say, well, it's too hot to grow in the summer, so I just use the outside garden. And then, oh, it costs me an arm and a leg to heat it in the winter, so I don't really grow it in the winter. So a regular greenhouse is essentially a spring and fall gardening experience. But here we have a year-round growing, and not only that, we have what we call succession planting. So in the growing dome you've got 3 seasons, and this is the summer season, the height of the hot season. You've got all the lovely tomatoes and peppers and squash and things like that that love the warm weather, and they grow really, really well right through till October or even November, producing fruit until then. And then we have the winter season where you've got all your different types of cold weather crops. So the cold weather crops fall into 3 main groups. So firstly, root crops, things like turnips, beets, carrots, radish, rutabaga, daikon, and they grow all winter long easily. And then the next thing is leafy greens. We've got all the different types of lettuce. We've got arugula, and then we've got the Japanese greens, tatsoi, mizuna, bok choy, all those things that grow really, really well in the winter. And then all the herbs keep growing all winter long. So, and then we have the members of the cabbage and onion family that grow really well throughout the winter. So that's your winter season and your summer season. But there's also an intermediate season from like February through May, where the crops that have been producing all winter long start to go to seed, so we can sow more cool weather crops in February that provide winter greens, continuing right through into May when all the summer crops start to produce. So that's the seasonality of the dome. So because you've got all this succession planting, what you need to do is make sure the dome is fertilized. And so we're going to show you different ways of fertilizing the dome. Over the years, we've used different types of llama poop, horse manure, well rotted. We've used cotton ball compost, mushroom compost, lots of different types of compost, plus different types of foliar spray. So some of these foliar sprays can be a seaweed spray, because we have to keep that nutrients done in the soils. And then the next thing is not to plant too closely, because things are so prolific and so dense that if you have things too close, there's a propensity for perhaps mold or fungus to form. So to keep an optimum density of planting inside the dome. The other interesting thing about gardening inside the growing dome is that you have microclimates that change according to the seasons. So in the summer, very hot close to the polycarbonate glazing, so you grow all your heat-loving plants here, beans, tomatoes, squash, peppers, eggplants. And so in the summer, this is the hot zone. But in the winter, it turns around completely. So this is the cold zone, because you've got the cold winter nights with the frost trying to penetrate. So this is where you put your most hardy crops in the winter, is right next to the polycarbonate. So every growing dome has a water tank that provides tremendous thermal stability. And so in the winter, you put your things that like a slightly warmer environment near the tank, but in the summer you put things that like a cooler environment. So near the tank it stays cooler in the summer and warmer in the winter. And then the other thing about a growing dome in terms of pest control, it is a place that's very, very pleasant to be in, especially in the winter, and some of our bugs and pests like to be in here. That's the downside. The upside of the growing dome is that if you're releasing beneficial insects such as ladybugs, praying mantis, beneficial wasps, that they actually tend to stay much more enclosed in the growing dome than they would in an outdoor garden. So in this video, I don't want to go into too much detail about specific information, but just know that growing in a growing dome is really easy. Things grow really fast, they grow easily and readily, and we have videos on our YouTube channel that lead you through every step of the way, from sowing the seeds to thinning to transplanting, harvesting, and so on. Pest control, soil amendment. So all those are on our YouTube channel, and that is under the name Udgar Parsons. That's our YouTube channel, and the videos are arranged by category, and you can do a search for any given topic. So that's our YouTube channel. And then we have our blog on our website, and if you go to the menu bar on our website, growingspaces.com, and go to the extreme right hand side, there's a tab that says blog. It's growingdome.com/community, and on that blog there's a wonderful little search box, so you can search for any topic you want to learn about, as well as there's a drop down menu with all the different groups of themes on the blog. So we have 300 or 400 articles and posts on there, so that's a tremendous resource. And also when you go to our website, growingspaces.com, there's a search function on the website, so you can search for any topic: cooling, pest control, water gardens, anything like that. So use that. As well as we have a wonderful Facebook presence. We have a Growing Dome owner Facebook page, as well as a Growing Dome enthusiast Facebook page. So if you're contemplating purchasing a dome and you want to ask questions, there are a lot of existing owners and would-be Growing Dome owners are in conversation on that. So it's Growing Dome enthusiasts. As well as that, we have online classes. So these, over the years, we've had different presenters come and present on a whole range of topics, and those classes are available on our growingdomecare.com website, growingdomecare.com, and they're packed full of information. And so finally, you can give us a call here at Growing Spaces. We have gardeners, we have technical support, so feel free to use all the resources we're offering you. We're much more than just selling you a greenhouse. We're giving you a whole gardening experience.